The Coming of the Civil War. Note taking study guide, page 168. Please be in your textbook on page 373. The question is how did the election of Abraham Lincoln spark the succession of the Southern states and then the Civil War that came? So the chain of events leading to the Civil War. The election of 1860. There were 4 candidates in the election. Pro-slavery and anti-slavery factions of the Democratic Party chose different candidates, and some Southerners joined the Constitutional Union Party. So there's a lot more candidates than we have in today's elections that viable candidates. Northern Democratic candidate Stephen Douglas, Southern Democratic candidate John Breckinridge, Constitutional Union candidate John Bell, and then the Republican candidate is Abraham Lincoln. Although he did not receive a majority of the popular vote, he received enough electoral college votes to win the election. So because there was 4 different people running, the popular vote was split between the 4. But he did receive enough electoral college votes to win this election. And it just showed how fragmented the nation really was. You had different sections. So you had North voting for Stephen Douglas. You had the Southern Democrats voting for Breckinridge. You had the kind of middle area between the two, North and the South, voting for John Bell. And then Abraham Lincoln won basically most of the North. So the coming Civil War. This leads to succession. South Carolina, that Lincoln had won the election, it responded by seceding from the Union. Southern leaders who opposed the secession, Tennessee Senator Andrew Johnson, Texas Governor Sam Houston, they didn't want to secede. Okay, the first state to secede from the Union was South Carolina, and then they named the Southern nations Confederate States of America. President of the Southern nation, they named Jefferson Davis. And Lincoln's message to the seceding states, he assured the seceding states that he meant them no harm and that he would not interfere with slavery where it existed. He said, "No, I'm not going to touch slavery in the South." But they really didn't believe this. So the response of the seceding states is rejection of that, and they seized federal property on their borders. They seized forts and weapons and things like that. So Fort Sumter, this is the spark that starts it. Okay. Lincoln's plan to deal with the siege of Fort Sumter, he sent a supply ship with no guns, so Southerners wouldn't think he was attacking them. However, South Carolina responded to Lincoln's plan. They fired on the fort, captured it, and this started the Civil War. So the next chapter, we're going to talk about the beginning of the Civil War.